I had a pimp who sold me to Russia one time. He promised me that it's weird in I mean everything is backwards, but in trafficking, in being a prostitute, there's rankings to things. So a trafficker, a pimp, and a John are three different things. When you are one of the girls or one of the guys, you have a kind of a ranking, and being bottom bitch means being top. So when at one point you had to work for that ranking, though, if there's multiple girls or multiple boys in a pimp's possession, you have to work for that ranking. You have to work for that, basically, respect from your pimp to be able to have your pick of jobs. And it's not like you get to pick if you don't want to be hurt. It's just kind of choosing a lesser evil type of situation. So if you find that ranking, or if you have that ranking with your pimp, then you can kind of pick what jobs you want. So if there's sex machines, then you can pick kind of the least painful sex machine to have to be on for hours. So with my pimp, I started learning that if I was nice to him, if I didn't fight as hard, if I gave up with the fighting, and if I just did what he said, then I would become bottom, which means top. He proposed to me when we were 15 years old. And his promise, with me being his wife, I was running around in very expensive diamond rings. My mom smashed so many of them. My mom now, when she found them, she smashed some in the street, and she didn't understand. I wasn't telling her everything. I was just saying, I have a 27-year-old boyfriend. I have my man, my husband is a grown man, and I was 15. So when he proposed to me, the promise was that if I said yes, and if I did what he said, then I would stay with him. And he, there was other girls that I saw with him. There were other girls that I shared him with. That sounds so ass backwards, but when you say it like that, but that was backwards to say, but it is what it is. But we had this deal, and this deal was that he wouldn't, the other girls and the other boys that he had, he wouldn't just leave me. He wouldn't sell me out of country and leave me there. He made that promise, and of course, there's no promises that he kept. They were all empty and broken and lies. So when I had to go to this auction, and this man from Russia purchased me, I thought, okay, we'll just come right back. And the first time he said, you'll leave with him. He wants to have what's called a girlfriend experience, where they're able to take you home and they're able to keep you for the weekend, and have you wake up next to them, is the girlfriend experience. And when I went with this man for a weekend, it was culture shock. It was, the smells were different, the buildings were different, everybody talked different. I didn't understand anybody. I was the only black girl, so when it comes to Americans and when it comes to being black, it definitely was the kicker, because they don't have any respect for you, and especially being a prostitute, they didn't have any respect at all. So some men like to have sex with you with their feet, put you on leashes, make you lick the floor or lick their feet, piss on you, shit on you, things like that. When I figured that out, I was like, I was praying, please God, let me get back to California, and I promise I will be a freaking angel for this man because I don't want to end up staying here. When we came back, my pimp told me I was going back out there before a week. The money that was exchanged is when I knew it was time to make a decision, because I knew I wasn't coming back. And I knew that he promised that he would bring me back, but there was money counters that came out. There was a huge meeting that he had to have. There was paperwork. And that's when I realized I have to do something because they're going to kill me. And in the worst way. And he told me, you're just going to leave for a week. And I'm like, there's no way. So I got out of school. I was told to go to the park in Fontana and sit on the swings. I had bright red hair, and this is what saved my life because I was about to get branded. I was about to change my complete look to go to Russia because that's what my pimp was telling me to do. So I braided my hair and I changed it. It was blood fire engine red, and it was so bright that it was so noticeable anywhere I went, and I had brushed it out so it's frizzy and crazy. And I went and sat on the swings, and I called my mom and my grandma at the time, and I told her, I love you. I don't know if I'll talk to you again, but I'm about to leave. And she's like, where? And when my grandma heard that in my voice, she rushed to the park. She saw me sitting on the swings. She's like, get home now. She called my mom. My mom called the foster home. She called the police. She called the social worker. And thank God they did, because it stopped the Russia order. It stopped my pickup. I was sitting on the swings getting ready to leave to go to Russia. And it stopped everything. That night, after telling my mom the complete truth and knowing that I wasn't about to come back, I made a choice to run and to disappear, because there was no way. CPS wasn't listening. My social workers knew and was in on it. They would tell me to stop telling people. People were making fake court orders for my mom. That was the time where I was like, it's either life or death right here. And in the next time that I have to try to make this decision, I'm probably going to be somewhere where I can't get out. So I ran. I disappeared from Child Protective Services government custody for a year straight. By less than a few weeks, because of my last name and because of the elite ties that I have, they took me out of the missing child's network system, and removed me from any Amber Alerts or any type of system to tell anybody that I was missing. But CPS still collected money for me. There were fake FBI that were sent out to torment my mom, to mess with people that I knew of that my pimp seen me with, because he made it. There were fake FBI that came out to torment my mom because my pimp made it in a way that he knew who I was hanging around. He knew what I was doing at school. He knew all those things. But I had to be safe, and I can't say exactly how I disappeared. It would incriminate a few really, really, really good people, because they had to do what they had to do to make sure that I'm still sitting here right now. If I didn't leave that park that day, I'd probably still be stuck in somebody's tunnel or dead. So that was Russia.